Good evening, everyone in chat. Tonight we have a best of three between Inting Geniuses Team Aqua versus Rawr's Rogue Upsets Team Pink. We'll go over the rosters later, sometime after the first draft.
Yeah. So my name's Jorja, and I'm here with JRBoyz.
Yeah, right. I
If you
forgot
wanted
that
to,
part.
introduce yourself. So they did a coin toss, and the team pink is starting blue side, so they will get the first pick in the upcoming draft. But we haven't seen much. Well, we couldn't have seen much from these teams yet, since this is their first match, and it is the last week last match of week 1 in the Silver League. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yes, Silver League's. I've casted the first game of Silver League, and there were 6 aces in one series, 3 aces in both games. So I really don't know what to expect since I haven't seen either of these teams. But if it's something along those lines, then yeah, it'll be pretty exciting to see.
Definitely. The silver teams have not let down for excitement from the games that we're in this week. But um, draft will probably start up soon. Just waiting on silver pink and to get them in the lobby. How are you doing, JR?
Pretty good. I I kind of rolled out of bed and was like, right, I'm casting today.
Did you just wake up?
No, like 2 hours beforehand, I was like, oh, okay, so I just need to like get mentally prepared,
Mm,
eat, drink something, and here I am.
definitely.
How are you?
I'm good as well. I just had something to eat before I came. Where's your Rylai beard? I don't know. I don't know if I can provide a beard like Riley's.
Yeah, so some pretty tough a pretty high bar we have to reach.
Yeah,
Rylion's beard is quite
true.
legendary.
I don't know. Only you can only see Ryan's beard if Ryan's casting. So, draft is starting. All right, and it looks like Silver Pink is starting off banning, and they are going to ban Cassiopeia first. Which I think it's interesting that one of the silver players plays Cassiopeia since it's not a champ that's played very often. We didn't see it much in the Gold League. I think we saw it a little bit, but
I mean, yeah, with Cassiopeia, you have to have pretty good positioning because you don't have much
yeah.
mobility. I mean, you do have the ult that can get you out of pinch sometimes, but you still really have to have good positioning to make use of
And then
Cassiopeia.
Samira ban as well. Lots of
Yes, Samira just um
like
oh,
silver is on.
is that me or is that her?
uh,
Oh, I see.
well,
Yeah, your mic kinda went robotic.
I
Didn't hear your
see it.
comment on Samira.
Fair enough. I'm sorry.
No worries. Things happen.
Am I back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Well, Vel'Koz ban as well. Looks like they're banning out. Well, I guess that could either be a mid lane or a support ban. I don't know
Yeah,
the
it
players
could
well
be.
enough to.
So yeah, what we're seeing like if this is Vel'Koz mid, we're seeing like a mid focus ban on the side of
Yeah.
Silver Pink, and then Silver Aqua they're focusing bot lane.
Hmm.
We'll see if we get a third mid laner here, and then that probably confirms suspicions that that was a Vel'Koz mid ban.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I haven't
Um,
seen Vel'Koz mid in a while.
yeah, I haven't seen Vel'Koz anywhere like recently. He's kind of like a weird AP support pick. But,
Oh
well,
god,
it might have been support. That the last ban
might
doesn't
have
really
been
help us.
3 AP bans though. Very interesting.
That is true. Well, let's see if Silver or Aqua will make it a third AD ban to match.
Yeah, third AD ban. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, third
Yeah,
AD ban we
a
see.
third AD ban. So bot lane focus bans from Silver Aqua
Mhm.
makes me leads me to believe that Silver Aqua wants to play through their bot lane.
Yeah, probably. They probably have a strong ADC support duo,
Yep.
and they pick Rakan, which I believe might be trying to take the pick away because Hessel, which is Aqua support, plays a lot of Rakan.
A valid
So
strategy.
yeah, just pick away with the enemy so the enemy can't play it, especially if they're gonna ban all your champions.
Yeah. Ezreal being grabbed up by Silver Aqua here. Ezreal really, safe champ. You get out of lane pretty
Yeah,
easily, and you do a lot of damage mid to late game.
definitely. Even though he got nerfed after he was really overpowered for that little bit, he still is definitely a strong pick
Yep.
as long
I
as you can land your Qs.
He I think went down like 2 or 3 positions on OP.GG, but
Yeah,
still very good. Uh,
definitely. And Gwen.
Gwen.
So, despite the fact that they banned all AP champs, they're still picking up an AP top laner, I would assume. I mean, I guess Gwen could go somewhere else, but it's definitely an interesting pick. Even though, like, Gwen, she's a really, really overpowered champion right now, but she's in like a tiny little bubble. Like, not many people play her, except for the people that like really enjoy her.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that they decided to pick Gwen. Like they just showed their top laner when they could
Yeah,
have picked
really early.
support. Like they already see Rakan, they can pick AD support. I mean, sure, but they show Gwen giving the counter pick over,
Yeah,
giving.
so
I mean, yeah,
Aatrox into the Gwen will definitely be a difficult matchup for Gwen. Then Varus. So you have Rakan Varus into Ezreal, and maybe they pick support here, but they
I
might
hope
pick
they pick
another role as
support
well.
here.
Yeah. It'd probably be a good idea to pick support here unless they have some ulterior motives that we don't understand.
If they don't pick support here, like Silver Pink's already banned 2 supports. I mean, what's stopping
Yeah.
them from banning more, right? With Fiora?
Wha- um, is it gonna be a Fiora pick? It is. I guess.
Uh,
I don't know. Either Fiora or Gwen is going mid, or maybe it's a Gwen jungle. I've seen it, but who
Gwen
knows, I guess.
Jungle.
I guess we'll have to see what happens when we get into the draft. Maybe it's a Gwen support. Maybe they did pick support.
Gwen support. I mean, you can't. I mean, I could see the argument if their enemy was running like a hook support, because then you can,
Yeah,
dodge the hook. But it's Rakan. You can't. Can you
dodge
dodge the
it.
knockup? No, because
I
you're
don't
inside the
know.
circle. You're in the circle. There's no way.
Yeah,
It
probably
has
not.
to go through.
Well, no matter what, even the draft has given us some excitement, so this game will definitely be interesting. And then Aurelia ban and then a Zyra ban. The support bans continuing to be pulled out by Pink.
Yeah, until they find out it's Gwen support, the hidden
Yeah,
tank.
they really just they had no idea, I guess. But I don't know where that Gwen's going. Chat says Gwen is jungle with Ghost. You know, I don't know any better, so. Warwick ban. So I think that's the first jungle ban out of
Yeah,
the
that is the
entire.
first jungle ban. I mean,
Which
I'm not sure how Morgana is in the jungle still. Maybe that was the jungle Morg
maybe it
ban.
was a jungle ban, but still, I think usually in the Gold League you saw a lot more jungle bans than. I don't know why, but I feel like every time I casted a gold game, there was so many jungle bans.
Yeah, because
And
for us, like jungle has so much influence on the map, like
yeah,
because you're literally visiting or the potential to visit every lane, right? So putting
definitely
a lot of pride on that's important. And Swain's will probably
lots of support.
support ban. Is that 5 AP?
That is 5
That's
AP.
5 AP bans.
So, and it looks like it might be Nautilus support. All
Nautilus
right.
support. Okay, my favorite
Nautilus
champion.
Ezreal with Varus versus Varus or Khan. We know that matchup for hopefully sure. I don't know. Maybe it's Nautilus top. I don't know anymore.
Could be what Dwayne B did. He did. It's Nautilus mid for all we know.
Yeah.
J4.
Nautilus jungle's pretty good. Just
Nautilus
like
is a great champ.
he is. I hate it. Alright, yeah, Jarvan picked up by Pink, and Jarvan is definitely really a strong champ right now. So I think
Wow.
and Orianna as well. Comp-wise, I think I have to give it to Pink, but mostly just because I don't understand the Aqua's intentions.
It might all make sense with this last pick, but I
This
do have
last
to
pick will
agree
bring
with
it all
you.
together.
Silver Pink has the more traditional comp, and like J4 Orianna or Khan, like they all have crazy synergy with each other for
Yeah,
with their ults.
definitely. Yeah, Kassadin last pick, so I guess it is Gwen jungle, which, is definitely surprising, but I'd like to see how it goes. Because Gwen is a really hard scaling champion.
When jungle, I mean, yeah, she scales hard, and I mean, I guess if you're ganking as Gwen, you have the little dash, and you can't really be stopped because you go invulnerable. So if they throw
Mhm,
some sort of CC or something, then you can dodge it. But it'll be interesting to see how they use the Gwen jungle. I kind of
definitely.
see the Gwen trying to maybe just invade and outduel the Jarvan
Mhm.
instead of going for
Well,
ganks, and maybe just creating like a CS difference in the jungle.
Aqua's comp is so late game. Like with the Ezreal, the Gwen, kind of Fiora, but then Kassadin as well. Like,
Yeah, no one like hits crazy hard early.
no, definitely not. Where I think Silver Pink has like a pretty, it definitely is a much more usual
Balance.
comp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do scale well, but they also hit pretty hard early. Like they have a lot of good mobility in CC. So, and shields as well. It'll definitely be interesting to see how the match plays out. I'm pretty sure if they go for a really long time, Aqua wins, but Silver Pink should probably win most of the team fights for a good bit of the game, just
Yeah,
comp wise.
maybe Aqua is just deciding to go for skirmishes instead of full-on team fights. I mean, based on
Yeah,
their team,
maybe.
I'd assume that because their
If they
team
can
fight
get
isn't that
picks with
great.
like Kassadin and Ezreal and Nautilus, then it could definitely be very good for them.
Yeah,
But
because they have two strong duelists, and like, what is Kassadin? What do you count Kassadin as? An assassin?
I guess so. A burst assassin mage.
Yeah, like,
But
so yeah.
and they do have the two squishy targets. Varus and Orianna are very immobile and squishy. So Rakan is squishy, but he has a lot of mobilization in order to get out of those situations. And then Jarvan and Aatrox are just gonna have to peel as best as they can. But with Fiora and Gwen, they might be able to just shred the tanks and then get to the backline. So I guess it really depends on who gets fed in the game.
I mean, yeah, gold will most definitely prevail over team comp a lot of times, unless team comps are played very poorly.
Mhm.
An issue with Aqua's draft I see is that they have four melees into an Orianna, and like, I mean, it's just gonna be grouped a lot, right? And if Ori
Yeah,
has good ball placement, then like four-man shockwave, not
it
much you
can
can do
definitely
about
look
that.
really good.
Yeah.
I think Pink has a lot better, like, well, we've said it, a lot more typical of a comp, and they have like two really good backliners with a lot of good peeling up front. But I could also see how somehow this could turn into Aqua's favor, just because their comp like scales so hard, and it's all those champs where it's like, if you get to this level, then the game's over. It's like that kind of thing, with like
Yeah.
Kassadin and Gwen. Like eventually they can all just like 1v5.
Late game Kassadin and Fiora and Gwen are just kind of
Yeah,
insane.
exactly. Like they can all 1v5, maybe. But I think with the comms, as long as Silver Pink keeps up their comms, then I think they'll have a good chance of winning this game.
Yeah, Aqua really has to pay attention to objectives, because if they fall behind on objectives early,
Yeah,
can be really hard to, even though they scale, it'll be really hard to hold on, because I've
especially
played a
the
lot
team
of
fights.
scaling comps. Yes, team fights mid game, late game get really hard to play.
Hmm. Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. And this is a best of three, so it's not the end of the world for whoever loses this first game.
Yeah,
but
maybe they're just, testing out the waters, their first
maybe
game in the season, is having a little bit of
maybe
fun.
they're just like it doesn't matter. Let's do what we want. And both teams have their full rosters, which is a little different from most of the matches this week. I think every single game has had a sub so far, which is quite unfortunate, but
Yeah, full rosters be good to see because they probably practiced
mhm,
beforehand. Um,
yeah.
Speaking of rosters, for Inting Geniuses, they have Mr. Polar Bear, Zegil, Cheesy, Gitano, and Hessel. And for uh Rawr Rogue upsets, they have Jason K-Boy, Think That I Can, Matthias of Row, Zuko, and Catch My Hooks.
Yeah, definitely some interesting names. As well as team names. I like both of these teams' names, honestly.
Yeah, me too. I saw them and I'm like, wait, Inting Geniuses. Okay, so we have Evil Geniuses, and then I look at Rawr's Rogue upsets, and we have Rogue. So I can just call
Yeah.
them Geniuses or Geniuses and
IG.
Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're both pretty good names. Not saying that the others are bad, but I don't know. These ones kind of top the charts.
it's true.
And I guess this will be the battle for who has the better name.
It's just a name battle now. No
Yeah.
longer battle of the
There's no
champs.
league. There's no more
No league.
league. It's just whoever has the better name. Maybe we can put a poll at the end. And then whoever wins the poll is just the actual winner. We'll get an extra point for some reason.
Yeah. Uh, I'm still trying to wrap my head around Silver Aqua's comp.
I mean, I guess our heads will just wrap it around it once we see it in action.
It, maybe it's just comfort champs. It might just be win lane, win game.
Maybe. And, comfort is never really that bad, especially in, like, a Silver League where, like, maybe everyone isn't as comfortable on a huge amount of champions, where they might just have their one tricks and do the best on their one tricks.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
if we do see a 1v5 happen, then it will definitely point out some of the scarier members of this Silver League.
Yeah, one tricks definitely will most of the time overpower team comps because they'll
Yeah.
just get so ahead and they'll know how to turn that lead into a win.
Yeah, especially in solo queue. I'd like to think that like comms definitely help because you can just lock down the one trick a lot easier and like specialize in only killing them. But
Right.
if it's a team full of one tricks, which usually shouldn't happen if you have bans, but if it's a team full of one tricks, then it's definitely scary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also, so not just Aqua's picks are weird. Silver
Mhm.
Pink opted for 4 supports and a mid laner. So are they
Yeah,
just
they're bans.
super scared of Hessel?
I guess so. So I guess we'll have to see how Hessel does in the Nautilus and try and judge his other champs based off it. And they also stole his Rakan. I'm pretty sure that's one of his most played champs.
I'm looking at his
So,
OPGG, and yeah, that is his most played champ this season. So not only was he 4 banned, he got his main picked or
first
his
pick.
favorite champ picked away.
Yeah,
That's tough.
definitely tough. They really tried to lock him down. But I
Seeing
mean,
him before the game starts.
true. He had no chance to even move. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see his Nautilus play out, though.
Right. Oh, perfect. I was just checking for the prediction, and it seems that Wookie, our
Mhm.
wonderful host, already set it up. I just missed the betting. Sad I couldn't bet on on Pink.
I mean, the returns aren't too big for Pink.
A return is still a return. We take those.
That is true. If Aqua pulls through, some people are gonna get rich.
Yeah, the points favors are 11% for Aqua and 89% for Pink. For a
Yeah,
landslide of votes here.
definitely.
I'm excited to see Aqua prove me wrong
Yeah,
here. I'm
me
reading in
too.
chat. I mean, I'm
I
not.
want them to prove
Yeah,
me wrong.
yeah, true. I want to see this comp work. I know
Mhm.
it can, definitely can. It'd be fun to see if it does actually work.
Yeah, because like, okay, as at a baseline, it does not look like a very good comp. But like, I've seen so many comps that don't look like they should work, just like pull it off really easily. And so that's what I want to have in this game.
Yep. I mean, I guess they could just be pioneers, you know. Some pros. I remember
Yeah, maybe.
when Kindred ADC was first introduced by Reckless, and everyone's like, "What is this?" And then they realized, "Oh wow, it's actually pretty good." So I mean, maybe Gwen Jungle's like sleeper OP. We don't know. I mean,
I mean,
it
I'm pretty sure my jungler played it a few times, but I'm pretty sure he played it in a league match in gold.
Gwen Jungle.
You can't get it out of your head.
I can't.
We'll just have to see it in action. We'll just zoom in on Gwen the entire match. No one else matters.
Let me take a look on the jungle charts on PGG. Maybe I'm just oblivious to the fact that Gwen's a really good jungler. Oh,
He
Gwen
has
is at
played Gwen jungle recently.
Ghost is needed for gap close with R. I mean, yeah, if Gwen gets on top of any target, she can just stick and do a lot of damage really fast. So,
Yeah, that is true. She's really bursty.
I mean, Ghost, I can see why Ghost is necessary and how it would help a lot.
Hmm. I can see that as well
Well,
as we are
we're
loading into the game.
What are you expecting level 1, Georgia?
Um, I mean, both sides have decent invade supports, but not I wouldn't say a very good team to follow up an invade.
Right?
But I mean, it'd definitely be exciting if one of them do decide to invade and are able to get a kill off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only way for either team to get a kill is for their support to land their one ability.
Yeah, because otherwise there's not too much CC in this game.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
especially early on. Oriana and Varus will provide some CC later game. Um, and then Rakan and Jarvan have some as well. But I think on Aqua's side, Nautilus really has some of the only CC. Like, there's Cast and Silence, but other than that, and I
Right,
mean,
and then Fiora
Fiora, yeah,
repost if she
yeah.
gets CC.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens because if Pink gets some kind of carry on their team, then it'll be really hard to shut them down if they don't have any CC.
That's true.
But I guess they do have a lot of burst and a lot of backline access with the Kassadin and Gwen.
Yeah, but they have to work through Varus ulti, Rakan charm knockup, and
Yeah,
Ori ult.
there's
There's a
quite
lot
a
of
good
stuff.
amount of peel.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I think if Aqua gets fed, they could have the game in their favor, but I think Pink has a lot more of a chance to get the game back in their favor due to the fact they have so much CC.
yeah. People in chat talking about the bot lane matchup. You know, at least if you look at the bottom half of the map, it's very traditional. You know, we see Ezreal Nautilus and then Varus or Rakan. I think it's probably, or I mean, for me, I might be a little biased because I Nautilus one trick, but I still think that lane is still favored towards Nautilus
I
just
think it
because of
is
the
favored
passive.
towards Nautilus. He always has a really good time early game.
Yeah.
And it looks like they are 5 pointing. Traditional start, nothing exciting. Or I guess 4 pointing on the side of Aqua.
They
So
are MIA pinging the mid lane as they only have
yeah.
4 points.
Oh, Mr.
A
Polar Bear
little
is going to,
exchange in the top lane.
yeah. I think he comes out a little on top health wise, but Jason K Boy 23 is going to back.
Yeah, early trades are really inconsequential, but because
Yeah.
you can just back in and be in lane by the time minions are there.
I mean, Mr. Polar Bear established his dominance, so
That's true.
he won the trade.
He also uses ward though,
That is
so
true. He
and
is one word behind.
especially with Jarvan starting on the bot side of the map, Fiora won't have that ward to ward river, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of it is going to matter about this early game, so especially once first drag comes up, whoever has prio will definitely have a lot easier time. Both junglers starting bot side, so they will be fighting for that top scuttle, but it looks like Jarvan might invade.
Walking in for the invade here.
Yeah, going to meet up with Gwen.
He's gonna scan, he's gonna try to go for the Gromp, and
I think he looked for the Gromp, but realized that she just took it. So he wasted quite a bit of time walking in there, unless he can.
I'm not sure if Gwen was able to see the Jarvan when he did that, because if he sees that Jarvan, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I do not think the Gwen was able to see the Jarvan there. But I mean, just the fact that he wasted time there, I think is pretty good for her. But it looks like Orianna might be... Yeah, Orianna put a ward on the Raptors, so they do see that Gwen is doing them.
That is some insane early evasion control. That's a lot better than some Gold League.
You know, you're not wrong.
Early ward on the Raptors, you know, tells the other team where Gwen is in her jungle clear.
Yeah.
Jarvan's looking on the top side for a gank. He's gonna EQ flash onto Fiora. Fiora's gonna flash away, but gonna get spell immune, but no, the pull gets Fiora. That is first blood going over to Rawr's rogue upsets.
The Jarvan was definitely very effective, and like you said, Fiora lost out because she used her ward so early.
Yeah, she had just no clue what was going on or where Jarvan was.
They really had no vision on him.
Khan holding the wave, not gonna be punished very hard.
Not very successful holding, but oh no, he does hold it. Okay.
He holds the wave, but at what cost? Half of his HP bar is gone, and I think Gnarl should have punished. He saw the Jarvan topside. If he walks up for an auto, roots him, Ezreal gets more damage on, and Rakan's even lower, and now Rakan can't do anything in lane.
Yeah, there's definitely more potential there, but he did lose quite a bit of health from trying to hold that wave there.
He's back to full. So...
Yeah, one potion. As far as CS difference, the only significant one right now is the jungle. Yeah. One has quite a bit more, which, you know, Jarvan got that early kill though, so they're probably pretty even in gold.
I mean, yeah, I was expecting Gwen to just, you know, farm it up until she has more items, because like we both said, you know, scaling champ, and her ganks are pretty lackluster, and she did take flash instead of ghost, so she doesn't have that speed that she would need to gank. A little exchange in the top lane. We are gonna hit 3 vitals onto the Aatrox, or is that 2 vitals? Either way, Aatrox is half HP. Yes,
and he has a big wave as well.
Yeah, big wave crashing in top lane. This dragon is spawning, and why can't I see what dragon it is? It is Infernal Dragon. Sad we won't get an Infernal Soul, but I have my fingers crossed for Ocean Soul.
Yeah, if it's not Infernal, then we'll go for the second best, I guess.
Yep. Although what is it? Is that Cloud Soul, or is it? Oh, no, sorry, not Cloud. The one that makes you faster. That one could be really good for Team Aqua here.
That's true. It'd give them a lot easier time accessing that backline.
Yep. Oh, a lot of people are resetting on the map here, taking another look at the CS differences. Still nothing big other than the jungle. An exchange happening in the top lane. Aatrox gets stunned up by Fiora. Fiora's gonna hit 2
quite a few vitals. Yeah. I don't know. Uh-oh.
Wow, flash away at Jorja mid lane. Yeah, top lane pretty even in trade so far. Fiora does have level 6 advantage, not for very long as Aatrox will hit 6.
Gets it just as soon.
But watch out for that Orianna with no flash. Could be punished if Hessel on this Nautilus decides to roam up.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting that Caston is already winning, and they are going for the dragon, which they do have quite a bit of prio over since J4 is in the top and Orianna just came back from backing. First dragon.
First dragon going over to Team Aqua, and a little cheeky feather from Rakan will not steal the dragon, unfortunately.
No, it will not. And the next dragon will be Mountain, so it will not be a Mountain Soul.
Still on track for Ocean Soul.
That is true.
Still on track. As you see, a little exchange here. Gwen meeting up with Jarvan.
Yeah.
Jarvan using his smite early, and they're just gonna walk away.
I guess so. He tries to go for the invade on the Raptors.
Wow, and he gets the Raptor with his Q. Wow.
No. Poor Gwen. But also a very good look by the Jarvan, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Jarvan he's basically just walking into Gwen's jungle as if it's his own. He's like, he walked in
Gwen's
early.
Not even fighting.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'll take that. That one looks good.
I guess Gwen did have to give because Kassadin backed and Ori was there in lane, so Gwen can't really take the 1v1. Yeah.
And it looks like they're gonna get top scuttle as well. They don't have that much prio top lane. Gwen is gonna look for it maybe? But she might get collapsed on.
The top scuttle does get taken by Jarvan. Gwen's gonna see that and has to walk away, sadly.
Yeah. But, I mean, at least she didn't get caught out at all.
Someone in chat, yes, I don't know, how does the team with Kassadin get first dragon? That's kind of crazy, as Kassadin gets a nice trade onto Ori ults, but will only get even down to here comes Jarvan for the gank, walking up, autos. He's gonna EQ and gets the knockup onto Kassadin, and Kassadin will fall.
He got a good trade at first, but the Jarvan early ganks are definitely doing work for Team Pink.
Yeah, Jarvan doing a great job with these looks. He's currently 2-0. That'd be interesting to see what he does with the extra gold and if he keeps up the pressure with these ganks.
Looks like Gwen might be trying to invade, but Pink does spot her out.
They are looking for the Orianna mid lane because they know she doesn't have flash, but Ori is walking to a choke point. Maybe she's gonna get collapsed on. Nautilus hits the Q, gonna auto for the root. Gwen doing a lot of damage, and that will be Orianna. Here comes EQ flash from Jarvan. We'll get the Nautilus. And will he get the Gwen? We don't know, but here we can see Varus sniping the Ezreal. And wow, a lot of things happening on the map. And here we go, Gwen and Kassadin collapsing onto the Jarvan. Jarvan will fall. Aatrox in there, come up. And gets one.
Shut down the Gwen.
He gets the Gwen. Wow.
Back and forth there.
A lot of back and forth. But I think Pink came out +1 on that.
I think they did, but they also did get the shutdown. So that is quite a bit of gold back into Aqua's pocket. But I think they do get the +1 because the Ezreal died solo bot lane since Hessel was getting that collapse on the Orianna.
Aggressive trades here from the both top laners once again. Fiora's gonna pop the ultimate and Aatrox maybe falls, yes, flash for flash, and Fiora gets the Aatrox.
That is definitely a good look from Mr. Polar Bear. Because he knows that the Aatrox does not have the ult as he used it to get the Gwen earlier.
Good point, he took it, Fiora took advantage of that and was rewarded.
Definitely. Rakan is on the top side, and I don't know if she's used.
Shockwave gonna come out of Orianna. Rakan walking up. He's gonna look for the ult W maybe. Kassadin gonna go over the wall. Here comes flash ult W from Rakan, gonna knock him up. Kassadin kind of fails the R, but he does not get away. That those Orianna ults do, or not the autos.
The auto attacks. Definitely hurting. And the support's roams are definitely good here. They're getting a lot out of them. Dragon is coming up in 50 seconds, and it looks like the Gwen and Nautilus are hovering around trying to get some early vision on it.
Yeah, a lot of action already in the first 10 minutes, almost.
Yeah.
Just a little behind a kill per minute. Just exciting to see.
Both top laners getting
aggressive trades. They're just gonna keep going for it. They're even in trades, but here comes Jarvan. Will he be spotted by Fiora?
I don't think so. It is
Yours?
interesting to see that Jarvan.
Like, I'm gonna engage onto Ezreal, he gets ulted, and yeah, there's not much you can do there. You know, Vera's ult very strong into Rakan knockup, and you're just dead.
Was not able to get out. It looks like Gwen is trying to take the dragon solo, but oh, she's not. Maybe. She's just walking around it.
Just walking around, maybe try to clear out the vision here.
Yeah.
Jarvan is on the right side of the map this time for the dragon.
He is. And the Ezreal just died, so they should have prio for the bot lane.
Gonna miss the EQ into the Gwen, and Gwen's gonna walk away. Oh, Rakan goes in for the engage, hits the W, but there's almost a fall. No, never mind. Jarvan gets the R, and here comes the rest of the team members, and Gwen will fall. Lawless hits a hook onto Rakan. Big or two-man shockwave coming out from Orianna, two-man knockup coming out of Nautilus, and Aatrox's gonna chase down the remaining members of Team Aqua.
Yes.
And Ezreal will fall as well, and that is 4 members down.
1 for 4.
1 for 4.
Definitely not a trade that they were going to want there. Aatrox just TPing back top.
I mean, everything worked out there for Pink. They basically got the catch onto Gwen, a little messy, but still got the R down, and then Aatrox was able to come clean up the fight, pressing his R, and then just, you know, wrecking havoc.
Definitely. They will see the bot lane back here though, as they are standing on the ward. So they did win the fight, but the dragons are 1 for 1. The kills are not, though, as well as the gold.
I just realized that Zuko is 5-0 on the Varus.
Yeah,
that
he got
is
a
something you
kill
don't want to see, right?
He has the Eclipse.
Looks like some more aggressive trades from top lane, but here comes Jarvan, gonna maybe punish the Fiora for overextending. Misses the Q onto the flag. Well, not gonna knock up, that might be it. Fiora's gonna go back and re-engage because Gwen's coming. She needs to walk down river. Here comes Gwen, gonna join the fight.
But Orianna and Rakan are also there to back her.
There to back them up.
4 people top.
4 members from Team Pink are top right now. Will Gwen get out? Rakan pops the ult and W, knocks up the Gwen, and that will just it for Gwen.
Yeah, the CC was stacked. Varus flashed, but not much else came out of the Rakan being up in the top lane.
Yeah, no, some good rotations from Pink. They're playing a solid game so far, except for giving that first drag. They've been playing pretty well.
Definitely. 12 to 4, triple the kills of Aqua.
Yeah, a little bit of a gold lead, 4K gold lead over to Team Pink.
Yeah, but as we said, they do have the scaling comp on the side of Aqua, so we will have to see if they are able to take any of that gold back and those kills back.
They do have the scaling comp, and the kills are on the scaling members of Aqua, so we'll see how that goes. And someone did point out in chat that Ezreal does have fleet footwork. Very interesting choice.
Ezreal and Kassadin, they just wanted to be twinsies.
Maybe they just wanted the... I was gonna say...
Rakan is still top lane. He's not left the topside jungle. What is happening?
They're just really trying to take this lead top lane, and I guess Catch My Hooks is taking notes from the LCS and not being in bot lane for the majority of the game.
Yeah. First turret going down to Pink. And they've not really been able to punish the Varus that much either. They're down CS and have not been able to kill him, so he still has a big bounty.
Yeah, Varus at this point demands 2 members for him, or at least the enemy bot lane, because Ezreal is in no position whatsoever to 1v1 the Varus.
No, he is not. 0-3.
Rakan going for more plays, gonna get the shockwave onto Kassadin. Will not hit the knockup, Cataclysm will miss as well. There's Nautilus trying to do his best to maybe get a trade, but no, he gets out.
No, lots of ults went down there for the Kassadin though. The Rakan, Orianna, and Jarvan ults. Oh wow! That first damage from Varus almost one-shotting the Ezreal.
Yeah, Ezreal, like, look at that. Ezreal didn't want to fight and he's basically almost dead.
Yeah. being forced to back. Varus is going to be a big problem.
Although Ezreal being 0-3 compared to the 5-0 Varus, I mean he's only I can't do math. 18 CS, like something like that. 18-ish CS behind. So it's
Not
he's
that
keeping
bad.
up. He's keeping up in CS, but the golds isn't that close.
Definitely not. 5-0 definitely gives you quite a bit of a gold lead over your opponent.
Yeah, Varus has a 1.5k gold lead over the Ezreal, so that is like a full component towards another item.
Yeah. Ezreal just trying to complete his mana. Two bounties are on the side of pink though, so if Aqua is able to get them, then they could have a bit more gold in their favor.
Oh yeah,
especially on some of those scaling comps.
If they stack the bounties onto one champion, that could be really big for them.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon will spawn.
Aggressive trades top.
Some more aggressive trades top lane. Love to see it.
Jorja does have TP without, and the Aatrox does not, because he used it after that last drag fight. Drag up in 13.
He's coming up, but Aatrox's TP will come up slightly after the dragon spawn, so maybe will be able to join the fight if they stall it out. He's gonna cancel the back onto Fiora, which is pretty big because she won't have HP to TP to this fight.
Yeah, so she will need to back before TPing. And as long as Zuko can look for some poke with his few item lead, then it should be a winning fight for pink. They're able to clear the vision here. Ezreal not able to land any of those Qs max range.
You see Aatrox maybe getting cut off from the team fight here, but he's gonna happily walk around the pit, maybe join the scene. Varus doing his best to try to poke enemy members.
Same as Ezreal, they're both just
it's going back and forth. Ezreal uses Arcane Shift preemptively. He wasn't in range of the EQ, and
it looks like they're going to get this drag. A lot of damage going down on it. Ezreal ult trying to steal it, and it looks like Aqua is trying to go in, but they don't really have the ability to right now. Rakan
get a charm onto the Nautilus. Shockwave comes out. Jarvan will not land the eco into Nautilus, but he'll still die to the Varus because, you know, Varus noises.
Varus noises? What noise does Varus make?
That noise right there.
Yeah. I don't want to try. Another turret for pink.
Really like seeing this Rakan Jarvan combo. Orianna's just placing the ball on. I bet the Jarvan and Rakan are just like, yo, ball on me and I'm gonna go in, and then Ori just mashes the R button and there we go.
Yeah, they definitely do have a good team fight and they're not letting it down. Rakan is 0-0-8 and Varus is now 6-0-1.
A very scary bot lane.
Definitely. They banned out the supports and I guess it was worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like both teams had to focus on ball lane because for the first phase of Aqua they did ban 2 ADs and a support, so they were bot lane focused, and it just seems Varus or Khan came out on top.
Definitely. At least in the laning phase. I mean, technically there is still a chance that it goes in Aqua's favor, but the chances are becoming slimmer and slimmer as that gold lead does grow to 5k now. Yeah,
it's just gonna... It gets harder for Ezreal to play the game as well, because as Varus gets more and more gold, he'll just be that much closer to actually one-shotting Ezreal.
Yeah, definitely. Ult one-shot. Watch my hooks trying to look on for Hessel, maybe.
I mean, so far from this game for me, I think MVP's gotta be Catch My Hooks with his... Yeah. I mean, I was thinking initially Jarvan because good ganks, but I mean, Catch My Hooks has been finding a lot of these engages and it's been working for his team, so... Definitely.
I think it's either Catch My Hooks or Zuko, because Zuko did live for a very long time while Ezreal was... Or not Ezreal, while Catch My Hooks was on the other side of the map. He was 2v1ing.
That is true. I did not look at the map because there was just too much going on in the top and mid lane.
Definitely. It has not really been a bot lane focus, but the bot lane is where all the kills have ended up.
Catch my hooks. Pops the Shirelias, but won't get anything out of it.
Dragon's still not up for another 2 minutes, so they're just getting a little bit of very early vision, I guess.
Yeah, what is Ocean Soul? One of the souls, or the soul that we wanted, so.
CS gap. I think top lane has a little bit more CS, or top Aqua. Fiora has a bit more CS, but the Varus has a bit more CS over the Ezreal. He is still keeping up quite a bit considering the lead that Varus has, as you had said before.
I mean, if I were Pink, you know, we have such a big lead on our Varus, I don't know, just everyone in general. We just need to start taking more and more resources away from the enemy teams to start closing out the game.
Definitely. Take all the jungle camps, starve them. It looks like they might be trying to start Baron, though. And I don't know if Aqua will be able to figure it out.
I think starting up the Baron actually has a lot, or actually maybe not even a lot, the damage. It is going down pretty slow, but we will see if Aqua responds in time, or we'll find out.
Caston is bot, so he does have TP up, but Ezreal's backing. I don't think they realize.
They do have Oracle coming up on Fiora in a couple of moments, but it looks like it'll be too little too late. Yeah, the Oracle comes out, but yeah, it's just too late.
Gwen tries to steal it, but it's unsuccessful. That is quite a bit of damage, though.
Yeah, Gwen like took 3 to 4 members down to half HP. I mean, maybe foreshadowing to what might happen later.
Let's hope so for Aqua's sake, but they do have the Baron. Now they are walking over to Drag. Cheesy is looking to get this turret here, and he does get the first turret for Aqua, giving them a little bit of gold that is needed in their pockets.
I'm gonna miss the W onto the Nautilus. Now it's gonna ult the Jarvan in hopes to get away. Really land the Q onto the tower. Rakan has a flash in the way of the hook. It doesn't matter. Nautilus falls where he stands. Wow. Cheeky little flash. They really wanted that guy dead. Rakan committing his flash to even block the Q. That's pretty messed up.
Lots went on there. Looks like in the top lane, Fior's just trying to defend against the Baron buff, Aatrox.
I definitely think Aatrox would have killed there.
Maybe.
Oh, it looks like he was gonna.
He might hear.
He just walks up and kills the Fiora.
Yeah. And drops the turret as well, getting them 2 turrets top. This Baron buff is making it very difficult for Aqua to clear these waves.
Yeah, I mean, their Cassidon is pretty good wave clear when he levels up to 16, and Ezreal's wave clear is pretty good as well with his, you know, he can just keep spamming keys into the wave, and it'll die.
They have good wave clear, but not this early on.
Yeah, definitely not.
I got a very early Baron.
I mean, yeah, good on Pink for spotting out that Baron and taking it.
Definitely, they had the lead and they made use of it. Now they just have to look for those shutdowns.
It's like both teams looking to run 4-1. Orianna regrouping after getting her blue buff.
And Aatrox being in the bot lane versus the Fiora. Castle getting quite a low from these Varus shots. He has the Mura mana and the Eclipse.
One more Q like that and Nautilus will die.
Aatrox just being able to free push now as the Fiora left him all on his own. Taking that bot turret as well, getting even more pressure and control over the map for Pink side.
But maybe looking to 1v1 the Aatrox, will it work out? She misses all her snips and will just lose a quarter of her HP.
Yeah.
Oh, alright, Jarvan EQ flash onto the Ezreal. We'll get a 2-man shockwave, and that will be all in a couple of seconds.
Godlike Zuko.
Yeah.
8-0-4. I don't know if Fiora will be able to do much here.
Gwen misses the second part of her ult, and we'll get pulled back into Aatrox, who will clean her up. That is 4 members dead
Almost.
for Aqua.
Yeah, as they do push these 2 inhibs. And maybe try and push for an end.
Yeah, I could definitely see them with the end there. Baron did expire, so it might be a little harder, but they will definitely get 2 inhibs here.
And Ezreal is up, the rest of the team will be up shortly, so they are backing up. Satisfied with the 2 inhibs.
Very good Baron buff use. Yeah, Baron usage there. Was that?
Yeah.
1 top lane tower, 2 mid lane towers, and an inhib, and 1 bot lane tower and inhib as well.
Yeah. So very good Baron usage there. Got a lot of structure damage.
Well, the gold lead with
It is
that, the
looking
gold lead did grow to
very
12k.
hard to scale for Aqua. The 1v5 champs aren't really getting the leads they need at this point in the game. Caston has 2 more levels to 16.
That's true.
I don't know what Fior's power spike really is.
I'll be honest, I don't play top lane either, so I don't know when exactly. I know she's like mid to late spike, but I don't know exactly when it is.
But it doesn't seem like she's hit that yet, whatever that is.
Pink is looking to be a little more aggressive with their vision, as they should. They have a massive lead and should not be scared to walk in here. Kassadin, well, not got caught out because Kassadin noises.
Yeah. They're trying to clear this vision. Don't want to be overrun in the jungle. I mean, considering everything, the CS is very even. The fact that Fiora is still ahead, despite the fact Aatrox has been split pushing, is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if we were only looking at the CS numbers, yeah, it looks pretty even. And then you look at all the bounties, and then
it's a little scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this game, Rakan and Zuko, the bot lane, are definitely big threats and big candidates for MVP.
Kassadin might be misclicking on the Zhonya's there.
Yeah. Maybe a little misplay there, but...
I just like to note, Pink's bot lane is flawless. They have 0 deaths.
That is true. They've done a very good job this game. Drag is up. They could go for Soul, but it looks like they're just gonna go for the end.
Who needs Soul when you can take the Nexus? An engage coming out. Jarvan gonna hit a 2-man knockup. Aatrox gonna pop R. Rakan going into the backline once again, and
Yora just looking to live here. Doesn't want to give any more plays over as they look to end out the game. Looks like game 1 will go to Pink, unless they all somehow get shut down by the laser beam. Oriana dies.
And yeah, it's game 1, like you said.
Game 1 goes to Pink. Quite an interesting game. It didn't look like they would have too much of a lead at first, but it definitely became a snowball that they just pushed into Aqua as Aqua slowly bled out.
Yeah, because like we discussed earlier, Aqua needed to look for more skirmishes instead of team fights because they did have the weaker team fight, and they ended up going for the team fight for Dragon and lost, and that's when Varus got the triple kill, I believe you said.
Yeah.
And from that, I mean, the bot lane started falling apart, and Rakan was able to free roam.
Yeah, the free roaming Rakan was definitely very scary for Aqua, and they were able to pull out the win. I wouldn't say it was the most exciting game we've had this week, but I can't say it was a bad game at all. I think it really shows off how seriously Aqua takes the game. Or not Aqua, how seriously Pink takes the game.
I mean,
Although I'm sure Aqua takes
could be taking the game seriously, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It'll be interesting to see if Aqua adjusts the team comp for like a more team fighty team comp, as we see Pink might just run back the draft, and we'll see if Aqua tries to ban out any
definitely
piece.
a good draft.
Yep.
I had the normal team comp, and it was the winning team comp in the end.
I mean, yes, it's the easier team comp to execute, and they executed it. So
Hmm. They executed it pretty well, just forcing them to bleed out.
if I'm on if I'm on Aqua, I'm looking to ban probably the Jarvan because the
Hmm.
Jarvan was able to get a lot done early. Or maybe
Yeah.
they just pick the Jarvan or pick someone that can match that early game tempo. The Gwen wasn't
Hmm.
able to match and she wasn't able to scale either, so it just didn't work out for them.
Did not. She did not get the scaling that she needed. Like she was doing a lot of damage, but I think it was a little too late at that point in the game.
Yeah, I mean we did see her go for the Baron steal and did quite a bit of damage to four of the
Yeah,
members. So
while living for a decent amount of time as well.
yeah, we're getting invited to
Spectate
the
link
draft.
for the next draft. Yeah.
Seems it seems Aqua, the losing team gets to pick which side they want for game two. It seems Aqua opted for blue side.
Yeah, they want that first pick
They do
because
want the first
I
pick.
don't think their support was very happy that Rakan got taken away.
No,
So
I
now
would.
they either have to ban it or they have a good chance of getting it.
Yep.
Because the Rakan was played very well in that game. Catch My Hooks did a really good job on the Rakan, and despite the fact that it was a steal, I thought it would be more of a weaker pick than it was, when it was really, I think, one of the stronger picks in that game.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like the team comp really worked well with it because
Yeah, lots of grouping to group
yeah.
for that W.
And even in lane, as we saw, Varus R into Rakan knockup and
Yeah.
charm, like that's really really
It's
potent.
just so much CC.
Yep.
And mobility. He was able to get out of quite a few different scenarios where he might have gotten caught, but in the end, he was 0-0-12, I believe. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I didn't took a look at the end scoreline, but I'm hoping that bot lane did end the game flawless and didn't run into base to look cool.
Yeah, no. I didn't end score either.
Everyone is getting settled onto their respective side of the lobby. Draft will be starting up very shortly.
Yes, I want to continue with this. Keep the action. And the prediction did go towards pink, so you will get the small return for everyone who voted for pink. But we will have to see how the predictions go in the second. It looks like draft is starting up.
Interesting to see if bans are the same as last time.
Yeah, if they still have that focus on bot lane or not.
I I only remember Senna as one of the bans, and I forgot the other two at the start for Aqua.
I think I still. Oh no, never mind. I just closed it. Oh, awesome. Pike ban. I'm pretty sure that was from the same as last game. From Aqua is going to ban the Pike. I do think Catch My Hooks was a very scary support player. He did what he needed to do in order to guarantee the rest of his team the kills that they needed.
Nope, couldn't agree more.
Let's see what. And it seems like Rawr is gonna ban the Cassiopeia again. Don't want him on the scaling Cassiopeia. It seems they were fine with him on the scaling Caston though.
J4 being banned. There we go. Our
Yeah, I think that
change.
is a change we needed to see.
Yeah, the J4 really really good early there. So
They'll
We'll
cause a
give
ban as
them
well.
a cause bad. Looks like Pink might just keep it the same. They're like, yeah, we won game one. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. Keep the same bans.
Yep. Don't need to fix what's not broken.
Yep.
But they do have the J4 banned out, so we'll have to see if they have another jungler that they can play with the same early pressure. Since he did get those 2 kills very early on in the game. Samira ban as well. I think their
That's the
bans are really
same.
set out. They know the bot side, and they do ban the Rakan. They know that Aqua has first pick, and they do not want Hessel on the Rakan.
Interesting. So the Rakan was literally to just take it away, and he shined on it
Yeah.
regardless.
I think that is definitely a good look for Catch My Hooks, and definitely makes him a scary support in this league.
So the Aqua opts for first Nocturne. I love Nocturne.
Yeah, Nocturne is a really strong pick. Even with communication, it's still very scary if you don't know how to talk with your team correctly.
Yeah, you turn out the lights, and then you fly at someone and do a lot of damage. And
Yeah,
this can be flex jungle and top, and maybe even mid if you're into that.
especially if they take another immobile ADC again, it'll be really good onto that. Like
Right.
if they were to pick Garen this
Wow.
game, or
He-
not Garen, Varus. I don't know where Garen came from. Gwen though is picked up by Pink. Yes, they. We don't know. I guess if that works awfully.
Yeah, we'll find out where Gwen's going. Yeah, Xin Zhao. So it
So
looks like Xin Zhao jungle Gwen top so far.
yeah, and then, 15 9 picks clear that time.
Is Zyra gonna be picked up by Aqua here? I think Zyra was one of the second phase bans from Pink last time, so we'll see what they pair up the Zyra with here.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm back. Oh, never mind.
We were like partially back.
My
Jace.
ping keeps spiking. Jace. That is definitely an interesting pick. Not
Can I
something
get
we
a
saw in the World League at all.
can I get an NA Jace in chat? I'm excited for this. NA Jace. So Jace top Nocturne jungle.
I would believe so. So they do have, I think they are following similarly interesting team comps so far. Looks like Pink will pick up the Rel. Catch My Hooks on Rel is probably going to be pretty scary as well.
Right, I mean, if he's keeping up the roam timings that he did on Rakan, I mean, it
Yeah,
won't be as fast, but Rel still has a lot, or it has more CC than Rakan. Still a little
but a little
slow.
less mobility.
Yeah. I mean, once she pops that W, if it doesn't land, I mean, she's the
Yeah,
slowest
she's a
champ in the
little stuck.
game, basically. Caitlyn being banned out by Pink.
They do not want Sire Kate, and I honestly think that would be a very hard lane to play into. So
Yeah, double long range, especially with a Rel. I mean, what are you gonna do as a Rel?
yeah, they do not want that extra poke. I do think it's interesting though that neither side picked an ADC round one.
Yeah, very interesting draft here, yeah. No ADCs being picked up. Maybe they just don't want to show their hand as to what they want for
I guess
ADC.
not. And it looks like they're gonna
Ban
ban these ADCs.
ADCs. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean, there's
Ezreal
only
going through
so many ADCs.
quick bans going back and forth, Ezreal being banned.
So far, there is 4 ADCs banned, and will this one be a 5th ADC?
Probably will.
Probably, unless we want to see a mid ban here. I would say the Ori was pretty good last game. She landed a couple good shockwaves that she was able to line up with the rest of her team to make a good team comp. Looks like it will be a
Yasuo.
Yasuo ban, which could be an ADC as well. So the way I see it, it's 5 ADCs. Callista
Kalista.
Rel. That is a very all-in type of lane.
You're seeing some very, very cool picks here. We're seeing Jason Callista. I think
Yeah.
Callista's been rising in popularity over the past few patches, I think. So we'll see if they're able to pull off the Callista, as she is,
Yeah.
you know, very
Kalista Rell is
scary
a
early.
very lethal duo with the all-in potential they have. Cinder picked up by Aqua into unknown mid laner.
So far, Aqua just has a lot of damage, kind of was mirroring
Very
their
bursty.
comp last game.
Yeah,
Just a
that is
lot of
true.
damage.
A lot of damage and no real true tank.
I
Like, I have to say, they do have quite a bit more CC this time, though.
Yeah,
Jinx.
they do. Jinx being picked up. Even more CC. You
So,
know, you
yeah.
have Jinx traps, Syndra shove, Jace knockback, Zyra root, and Nocturne fear. So a lot more CC this time around.
Seraphine. Looks like it's gonna be a Seraphine mid into the Syndra.
Well,
I do like a
Seraphine Rel.
Seraphine mid.
Seraphine mid. I haven't seen Seraphine mid in a minute, but I like Seraphine the champion, so this will be fun to watch.
I like Seraphine in games with good comps because I think her ult is such a big game turner and is good fight tool in order to win a fight. It can like literally win a team fight if Seraphine lands a good ult.
Yeah, I
Especially with
agree.
her Rel, Seraphine Rel could be a very scary combo if they play it out correctly.
If either of them gets a big ult, the other one gets a big ult, and that
Yeah,
fight should be over.
definitely. Because if they're all grouped up, then Gwen and Callista have a lot in their favor in order to kill them. On the other side, like you said, there is a lot of burst damage, just like last game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they play the game differently if they decide to not go for team fights. Although I think this team's a little bit better, or actually not even just a little bit, a lot better for team fights because
Yeah.
Nocturne will take out that TP. Syndra Jinx do put out a lot of damage, and Zyra can get a big CC down.
Definitely. There's a lot more potential with the team fights in this comp, but I think there's a little less late game scaling, but still a decent amount of late game scaling.
I mean,
Maybe I
full
don't
item Jinx is really scary, as well as
know.
Syndra.
I do think they will do better in the later game than Pink, unless Pink does get a big lead on that Callista Rel duel. And Zin. Pink has a really good early game comp with Callista Rel and Xin Zhao. And then the Seraphine and Gwen really pull up their late game.
Yeah, so like a pretty more balanced comps this time around for like
Both teams,
both
I would
teams. Yeah.
say. They both
Although
have
I'd
a
like to,
you go.
I'd like to see. I don't know. I don't like. Um. Okay, I like Seraphine, but I don't know if she like other than Rel. I'm not sure if she really fits here because the only person that will kind of do AOE will be that Gwen with that Q.
That is
Because
true.
Callista will until she gets. I mean, even if she gets Runons, like that'll only be a little bit of AOE.
Yeah, but I mean, Seraphine herself can do quite a bit of damage if she does build AP.
That's true.
So I think it depends on what Seraphine builds as well. I do think the Jace Syndra duo will have a lot of poke and burst together. Yeah, I really think it's a very bursty team that Aqua is going for. Lots of dive.
Yeah, this Aqua team kind of reminds me of some stuff that was played a Worlds like 2 years ago. I remember seeing like at least four of these five champs on one team.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I forgot how they pulled this off, but it could just be, we do so much damage that it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they do have some pretty tanky champs. Like Gwen gets pretty tanky, Rel obviously gets pretty tanky, and then Xin Zhao has capabilities to get people off and stay alive for a long period of time. So the burst will have to be very bursty if they want to win the team fights. Has to happen very fast.
Right.
The game is starting to load up.
Maybe a lot more potential for shenanigans early as Zyra has Root, Jinx. Starting Chompers isn't the best, but doesn't completely tank the lane.
It
So
does not.
be interesting to see, especially because if Jace or Syndra gets an early lead, or even a Nocturne gets an early lead, then it's really scary.
Yeah,
So
I
maybe
mean,
it's
anyone
worth.
getting an early lead is like.
That's true. Like the Jace needs the early lead.
That is true. I don't know the Jason to Gwen matchup. I don't know how many times I've seen that. I mean, Jace
Yeah.
obviously has pretty good poke for a lot of the game, but Gwen has a lot of ways to dodge that poke and heal up. They do. Both teams have done a really good job of splitting their AP and AD damage, though. They do have a good split and have had a good split both games, in my
Yeah, that's
opinion,
good.
at least.
It's really bad whenever you don't have a spread. Although if you go all AP, it's actually not that bad because I think the MR items aren't that great right now.
That is true.
But yeah, good damage spread's always nice to see. So there's no like stacking armor, stacking MR.
Mm-hmm. We will definitely have to choose between one or the other. Or maybe just go for the in between and get some health. But we'll have to see if Zuko and Catch My Hooks can do as well this game as they did last game when they went 0 death, deathless for the entire game.
Yeah, I
And we
mean,
also have to check out runes. Last game they didn't really look very much until the chat pointed out that Ezreal had fleet footwork, but
yeah. When I saw Ezra, I saw someone in chat say that. I was like, wait, you're right. What is Ezra fleet footwork? What?
yeah, I don't know if that was a mistake or maybe he's got some normal runes that we don't really know about. But
Maybe it's because it's Varus and he has a lot of poke. You just want to be able to live lane
and I mean they
through the
did
poke.
buff it, but I don't think it's buffed enough for Ezreal to start taking it.
Yeah, I don't know. Fleet Ezreal. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
Um,
So we'll have to check out runes this game as well to see how they end up. If
if
there's anything else
I'm
interesting.
if I'm Aqua here with the
Mhm.
Jinx Zyra, very happy to go even because I know that the Kalista Rel they wanna get that early lead. They're like the
Yeah,
all
they
in
need the
lane.
early lead.
So if you're Aqua, you go even, you're more than happy here. And especially if you start calling down the Nocturne once you hit 6, then you can
Yeah.
start doing a lot bot lane.
But I think that was a lot. That was pretty similar last game where they were happy to be even because they did have like a little more of a scaling duo and comp in general, and they unfortunately were not able to be even. Unfortunately for Aqua,
Yeah, you're right
looks like
actually. I think back.
the prediction is up. Still a lot of votes in Pink's favor, but I think Aqua has a bit more of a favor this time than last time. Which
Yeah,
you know,
last
I
time.
think I think that percentage is probably what I'm feeling just based off the team comps. Like I think um, Pink's team comp is a little more traditional, and in my opinion, should work out a bit better. But I mean, Aqua, like the burst could work out. So
Uh, I think I think I favor um Aqua here. I don't know.
yeah,
I just like the damage.
yeah, you like the burst. I'm
Yeah, I
just
like the
scared because
burst.
there's like a lot of healing and shielding potential with Seraphine and Zinzao. Because doesn't Zinzao build Eclipse usually? I don't know. Doesn't he
Yeah,
usually build something and heal a bunch? Like,
yeah, I see Zenzel building Eclipse, and then because of the buffs on his healing, he actually just heals a bunch naturally.
yeah, and Gwen is always healing a bunch, so like I was saying earlier, their burst damage needs to be very strong in order to kill the targets. Like they do have a lot of burst damage, but and we are going into an ad break, so the only people that can hear us right now are those that are subscribed.
They supporting the channel, you know?
Yeah, support the channel.
You know how long the ad break is? Is it
Um,
just 30 seconds? A minute.
a minute.
Thanks, Wookie.
So, yeah, thank you for supporting the channel then, for everyone who is subscribed.
Yeah, for those of you for those of you who are subscribed, a little fun fact: I finished my entire water bottle in the first 10 minutes of that first game, so I have no water left.
If someone uses the water perk, then you have to go get more
I
water.
have to go get water. Please don't do that. I'm fine
Why
where
is
I
the
am.
water too far away?
No, I'm just fine where I am. I don't want to.
I don't know, I think I have enough points. I control your water intake.
Wookie, we can talk, man. We can really talk about this. It's one statement.
Alright, let's take a look at these runes maybe. I think Lethal Tempo's pretty normal. Jinx going Fleet Footwork, which I think that's a little better, right? Than on
Yeah,
Ezreal?
that's a
That's
lot more
more normal,
common
right?
than on
Yeah.
Ezreal. Yep.
Zyra going Comet, Rel with Aftershock. I think Seraphine usually goes Airy when nodes. Zyra with the Electrocute. Yeah, I think everything's pretty typical for this game.
Yeah, the only
Both supports do have exhaust.
oh true. No ignites. No ignites
Yeah,
in the game at all.
there is no Ignite in the game, which I think that might favor no ignites in the game probably favors pink since they do have a bit more healing.
Yep. Agree with you there.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I'm like, doesn't Callista usually go Halo Blades? But I think Lethal Temple is a good secondary option as well. So I guess we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I
Phase
don't
Rush on Jace.
phase rush on Jace. Isn't that normal? Because then if you want to go for the
Yeah,
all-in,
I
you need
think
the
it
speed
is.
to stick onto your target.
Yeah. I think runes are way more normal this game than last game. Although I think
Yeah.
runes were generally kind of normal last game, so.
The only swap out I in my mind would be instead of aftershock for real, like you're already super tanky. I like to see maybe the Guardian as like a Ghetto Knight's vow for the
Maybe?
Callista.
I don't know. I think Aftershock's pretty good because you do want that extra damage when you go in.
That's
And you're
true.
not generally on top of your ADC.
We are walking or loading loaded onto the
Like,
rift.
yeah, it might be another 5 point this game. No
See,
team
we see
really
this
opted.
buddy system again.
Yeah, buddy
This buddy
system on
system.
Aqua.
Yeah.
They don't want a 5 point, they want a 4 point.
You know that they're lining up here. Good job,
Mhm.
guys.
Let's see if
Everyone's
they
in the
try and go for
position.
deep vision again, though. Because I do think
That's
that was very helpful last game.
yeah. We'll see if let's see
I do
if
like the skins this game.
Hassel can afford it. Wait, which skin is Hassel running?
I think that's
Oh, is it the
Coven?
Coven Zyra?
I'm
Oh,
pretty
I
sure
see.
that's the Coven one, yeah. And
What?
then I do like Maruda's and Zhao, and he has the Seraphine skin as well. I think that's Popstar Seraphine.
Let's see if I think it was Mr. Polar Bear last time that dropped his ward
Mhm.
early and then ultimately caused his demise. We'll see if he uses the ward early. He does
Yeah,
use the ward early. We see it in the upper river there.
yeah, he does. I think it's definitely interesting ward placement. It looks like Zuko is trying to pull the wave, trying to get an early advantage here. Jace keeping Gwen off this wave with his range.
Yeah, if Gwen walks up, he just gets the Empower Auto, and Rel does get the engage onto Zyra, who flashes away, gets exhausted. 3 spears into the Zyra, has to force out the heal, and
Oh
doesn't
wow,
fall. Really
barely
close.
lives.
Barely lives.
And it looks like the top lane, both top laners are pretty low on health. Taking a trade there in really neither's favor. I guess Gwen has a little bit more healing, so it is in her favor though. But Jace does have the best skits, so. And they will definitely have to play this bot lane safe. As you can see from that early scuffle that it'll be a difficult time if Zyra gets caught out. Especially now that she's used Flash and heal's been used.
Yeah, without flash heal, you only have the exhaust to get yourself out, and into Rel, exhaust might not even be enough with the amount of CC that she has.
Yeah, Root is landed onto Zuko, but there isn't much follow-up available. Jungler's playing opposite sides now, so this time there will be a bit less of a fight for this scuttle.
Exchange mid lane, Syndra gonna come out on top by basically everything.
Decent amount.
It was
Yeah,
half
she has
for
full
nothing.
health.
And even more poke going down onto the Seraphine.
Yeah, I think the Seraphine generally is gonna have a pretty hard time in the lane just because Syndra has a bit more base damage than her.
Oh,
And
the Syndra gonna
Syndra doing
get
a lot of
Seraphine
damage.
really low. She had Ignite,
Yeah.
that's basically a kill, but forces Seraphine even further out of lane.
Yeah, not able to get probably most of this CS here. Probably forced to back as soon as she possibly can.
Yeah, she might look to just clear the wave and then back for HP and TP back when it's convenient. Because it's really hard to play the lane into Syndra this low, you might just get popped instantly.
Yeah, deals a lot of early damage. And late damage, honestly.
You see
Looks like
Xin Zhao on the
Xin Zhao might
bot
be
side of the
trying.
map.
Yeah.
He does wrap around, they are not aware of this. Rel flashes onto the Zyro, who doesn't have flash, and she will fall. Rel E lands, and that will be first blood going over to Zuko.
A good gank by Xin Zhao again. And Catch My Hook's really showing off the Rel performance as well. A very good look with the flash W.
No, I mean, really good calling down the jungler, knowing that Zyra doesn't have flash. She walks up too far, they don't have a Tribush warded, and she's just, Zyra's just dead.
Yeah.
An exchange happens in the top lane. Gwen is half HP to Jace's full HP, but Gwen has a full wave. Syndra does get, oh my gosh, Seraphine really low once again.
Yeah, the shield's barely saving her life. So yeah, first blood going back to pink again, just like it did last game with the jungler gank. So hopefully this doesn't end up as a repeat from last game for Aqua's sake and for probably the audience's sake, as a game 3 would be nice.
Yeah, game 3 would definitely be nice.
Bot lane backing with a little bit of a gold lead. Jinx not having as much CS as she was kept off by that Rel.
Interesting to see Seraphine building tier, or she started tier actually.
Yeah, so that definitely doesn't help her laning phase.
No, definitely not.
Cinder getting a lot more poke off with the Dorans.
See Xin Zhao looking for some play top lane, but will not result in anything because the wave's pushed in.
Yeah, not really much of an opportunity there. Nocturne hasn't really done anything yet, but I think once he gets ult, that will be changed. Xin Zhao is keeping up pretty well in XP despite the fact he's been ganking. Looks like they're going to start Dragon again. Very early on.
We're starting the Dragon, and it will zone out the Rel with those chompers because you can't jump over. Rel walks around the chompers.
Yeah.
It's a knock up onto the Zyra. Dragon's at 1k HP. Zyra is getting pretty low, has 4 spears in her. Dragon goes over to Nocturne. Zyra does fall, here comes Flash out of the Jinx. Xin Zhao is feared and Nocturne falls. So they get the drag, but they lose 2 members.
Yeah. That means it is 3-0, and I don't know if that drag was worth it as the gold lead is in Pink's favor. And they also forced out a few flashes there. Jinx flash getting forced out. Lots being used.
I think it was Jinx flash and then Syndra flash.
Yeah. Had just to get out of that dragon pit. It's a lot less safe when you're on that bottom side. To sneak a drag like that.
Yeah, when you're on this side of the map, it's really hard because the pit's open away from you, so.
Yeah, Jace does have full, which I find interesting. He's really going for the scaling.
Yeah, interesting that he opts for. Maybe it's kind of scaling, but like it plays towards that like mid or early to mid spike, because once he finishes that, then he gets that burst of gold, right?
Definitely. And he does have the tier as well, so. When looking to go in here though,
but just gets knocked back.
Yeah, takes more damage and then gets knocked back. Most of the trades have been going in Jace's favor.
Yeah, I mean, because he can basically get out of the queues if he wants to, because he just bonks her back and then the queues are no
Yeah.
longer hitting.
I think it is a matchup favorite for him, as much as I can tell. And this does not look like a Seraphine favorite matchup, as much as I can tell.
No, Syndra's just bullying the Seraphine.
Hex Flash
Hex
being
Flash coming
used.
out from Rawr will not engage with W.
Can't find a target, and she does not want to be missing. Because if she misses the W, I think it makes the lane a lot more volatile.
If she misses the W there, she probably gets chain CC'd by the Zyra root and Jinx Chompers, and that's just not
Yeah.
good. As we see Zhao gonna take the buff away from Nocturne. Nocturne is down a level and has to flash away. Rel engages onto the Zyra, who still has flash, gets speed, but nice Chompers from Jinx will get them both. Jace is gonna go onto the Xin Zhao, and Syndra does not pick it up, but Jace does, which would be very nice.
And Cinder does get an assist as well, so I think that is their first kill. Bot lane flash being forced out again, though, is not what you want to see. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as they are not killing her, I guess it is fine, but...
Yeah, if you don't die, you know, your flash did serve its purpose, but it is down for 5 minutes, so.
Yeah, and she can't let it happen again. And since that is the second time that she has flash, it seems that it is repeatedly happening.
We see Nocturne maybe looking for the ult top lane because he is level 6. We'll see if Gwen steps up past half. Looks
She
like
does
nothing.
look a little scared, yeah.
Yeah. Nocturne does blast count over. We'll see if Gwen is aware of this. No, Jace pushes in the wave, so.
Yeah, it's becoming less and less of a ganking opportunity.
As Rel gets an engage onto the Zyra, who has no flash and just falls to the Kalista that has so much damage.
Very good engage.
Great engage from the Rel. Xin Zhao rotated down here. Maybe going for the dive. Jinx well aware of the dive.
Far away, yeah. Luckily. Don't want to be giving this Kalista any more kills than she has already.
Good response from Aqua though. Taking the Rift Herald on the top side of the map in response, since it did see the Xin Zhao bot lane.
Yeah. With that ward. So yeah, it looks like bot lane is just going to get more and more difficult as the Kalista is 3-0.
Wow. Syndra getting, wow, relentless. Xin Zhao goes into the Zyra and just takes, wow, like diving them between towers. And flashes onto the Jinx, gets a knock up. Rel also hits a knock, and Jinx will fall once again to Zuko.
It's a very rough time for the bot lane in this game. They are just getting beat up relentlessly.
I mean, on the top side of the map, Nocturne is taking away some camps and maybe looking to kill this Gwen and spawn the Herald and get some gold towards the chase.
Which would be good, but is not the same as the 4-0.
That's true, as the Herald does go down. Nocturne ults onto the Gwen, who will be taken down to half, will be dove under tower, gets feared. Will she die? Yes, she will, but might be traded with Nocturne. Yeah, the tower finishes off Nocturne. So 1 for 1 in the top lane, but Herald, or Shelly rather, is beating down the tower.
Little rifty. But Dragon is taken. So it is 1-1 Dragons now, but the kills are not that even. The Gold League is pretty even, the Gold League. I don't know why I keep saying league instead of league.
Gold League, yes. So we see Rel look for another Hex Flash over the wall. Gonna maybe miss the Syndra and is forced to jump away.
Yeah, it was a good look, but being able to get out there is also very good by her.
Although the gold lead is 2.3k in favor of pink, every time we look mid lane, we see the Syndra just chunking the Seraphine. So that's good for Aqua, and Jace did get a lot of gold there with the kill and 4 tower plates.
And now it's definitely more up in the air about who will get first turret, because bot may be able to defend it, but they also are having a very hard time just living, so it might be very difficult to be able to defend it. They just don't have as much peel as they need to be able to peel off that Rel and the Rel and Kalista right now. And they don't really have a back line, or a front line, so it's not going to get much easier for them. Rawr's always going to have quite an easy time jumping onto the Jinx.
Yeah, the only really stop for that is Jace batting her away, but other than that, or I guess there's the Syndra shove, but we'll see.
There's a few opportunities to get her away, but...
See Nocturne respond, maybe sees that his red's taken. Since I'm gonna head top lane for the gank, Nocturne will have ult just in time to respond.
Yeah.
He's sitting in the red bush. He's looking for the counter gank. Xin Zhao goes in onto the chase and will get knocked up. 2 flashes coming out. Yeah, Xin Zhao will go down. And Gwen also looks like she will go down once again under tower.
Yeah, but it is not the same 1-for-1 as it was last time. Rel gets stunned. Electric cocked, but she's able to get over that wall to safety.
Every time we pan, or the camera pans over to Syndra, she's always throwing out the shove.
Yeah. I mean, her one combo is most of the mid damage, so... And it looks like they will get first turret top lane. That 0 for 2 definitely going in their favor.
Hessel gets a nice route, but will get saved by the Kalista, but wow.
Yeah, Jinx forced a flash. She's so scared.
It was a nice route, and then Kalista saved her, and then Jinx has to flash.
Yeah. I mean, Rel's really scary. She's has the ult and the W up, and...
Yeah, Rel's proven to be really good at looking for these opportunities, especially with the Hex Flash, and it's making bot lane really hard to play for Aqua.
Yeah. I think if it was into any more of a less aggressive lane, it might be a bit easier for them. But this lane is very aggressive, so they either have to give up a lot or give up their life. And unfortunately, they've been giving up their life a few times.
I definitely think that Aqua's bot lane, or the Hessel, the Zyra, could have positioned a little bit better into the Rel, knowing that she has Hex Flash to not give the opportunity. But speaking of positioning, here comes Xin Zhao trading flashes, knocks up the Zyra, who lands the ult, but she will die. Here comes a TP coming out from Jace, who's a little late. Zyra hits Rel hits a knockup, and oh my gosh, Seraphine doesn't hit anyone with her ulti. Everyone from the team is here.
But it is a 5v5. Other than the people that are dead. Looks like Nocturne might get killed here.
Gwen gonna look for the chase with her ult, gonna miss the second part of her ult, but Jinx will fall down.
Going down to B. And Syndra is the only one alive on Aqua. Zyra's now up, but...
Yeah. Only one to live that fight.
Yeah, the only one to live that fight for Aqua is Syndra. Where the Kalista... Zuko is 6-0 again. Very good looks from him this entire game. Rel unfortunately did die there, so the bot lane didn't go perfect.
No flawless bot lane back to back. I like to point something out though. Someone's gotta fire this Gwen. She's at 0 vision score. Unless that's a visual bug. It's literally 0 vision score coming out from the Gwen.
16 minutes hasn't placed down.
Hasn't beaten one of the records on my team. I think it was 22 minutes 0 vision. So we'll see if it reaches that point, but let's hope not.
Yeah, they are dragging the dragon out, looking to get their second drag here. Looks like Jace is trying to trade the Rift Herald. Maybe trying to get some more pressure. I mean, technically, Aqua does have the only turret taken right now.
I mean, if they take this Herald and break mid tower, it gives them a lot more room on the map to start making some plays happen. Maybe some picks, because they do have a lot of burst.
The Gold League is not really in anyone's favor. Like, it is barely in Pink's favor. So there is definitely a chance that they're able to come back if the Jason, the Cinder, and Jinx can pick up some kills.
Oh, we are seeing the Gore Drinker coming out of from Xin Zhao instead of the anticipated Eclipse.
Yeah, I mean, that still is. Uh-oh.
So 1v1 from both bot lane. The Chomper's not landing. A lot of spears into the Jinx, and she will get rended.
Yeah, the rend just is most of the damage, and I don't think the Jinx realized that. He just sat there and tried to auto, but once the rend comes through. But it does look like Rift is going down mid, like you said.
Yeah, really open up the map here for Aqua. Really, I mean, really good if Also, Shelly gets that second charge, but they will not defend Shelly.
Aw, it barely missed that second charge.
Jake's gonna miss the empowered Q, but it might not matter as Nocturne comes through with a gank. As the fear, well, I don't know where it is. There it is. There's the fear. But oh my gosh,
Gwen doing
heals
so much damage and healing for a lot of her health, forcing the Nocturne to die and the Jace to back off.
Gwen healed from like nothing to half, and they just died.
And all she has is her leeching Leer.
It's a cool champ, right?
Yeah. I mean, we saw it last game as well. She has a lot of damage and a lot of healing. Last game, it just wasn't able to be utilized as well since she never really got the opportunity to get on those duels.
I think very interesting here, or in my mind, how this game boils down is how well the Kalista plays. Because if Nocturne and Syndra and Jace get free roam into the Kalista, that's like all the gold on pink.
Yeah, that is true. And Mythics on everyone but Rel and Jinx right now. Oh, and Zyra. Rel, Jinx, and Zyra all locking their Mythics.
Nothing too crazy with the
Seraphine
Mythics
opting for Moonstone rather than the AP build. But she does have the tier stack for maybe a Seraph's. Ballista is free hitting this mid tower. And it looks like Pink does have pretty good vision control this game as well. Their vision has been pretty good throughout both these games. Oh, it looks like Gwen does have a 3 vision score.
There we go, Gwen.
Minutes.
Let's go. Got some vision down, helping out the team.
But like, other than that, the team's doing a very good job with the vision. Although I have to say, the fact that Zyra has a higher vision score than Rel is kind of crazy.
That's
I guess
true.
She's been sacrificing her life for vision on quite a few occurrences.
I mean, vision score is not only dependent on how well you play it, but how well the enemy plays it. Because if the enemy places no words, how are you supposed to get vision score? Interesting to see. Like to point out the Mountain Soul, or it is Mountain Soul this game, so we'll see who that goes to. And then, you know, if Mountain Soul goes over to Rel, she's just not gonna die.
Yeah, it'll be a lot harder to kill her. But if the Mountain Soul does go over to Aqua, then it'll be pretty good since they don't really have a tank. Those extra resistances can help them basically provide for their front line, giving everyone a little bit. The Moonstone heal's coming through. Hopefully Aqua picks up Execution there sometime soon, or some types of Grievous.
Both teams kind of look for the ARAM here. Zinzag gets a nice engage onto the Zyra. Seraphine gets a nice 2-man ult, and Rel follows up. Here comes Nocturne trying to join the fight late, but too late.
Yeah.
As everything already went down. Beautiful engage from Zinzag. Does a lot of damage, and Seraphine gets a nice 2-man ult.
And then the Rel following up with her ult as well means it was very hard for them to get out. A lot of CC stacked on top of each other.
That was a 4v3 turned into 4v4, but it just didn't pan out for Aqua.
Played a little bit better by Pink, I think.
Yeah,
I think positioning is really important when you're playing a team like Aqua's.
Yeah, because they don't have a tank to just sit in front of you, you really have to be aware of where you're standing, or that's gonna happen. And they
also have a lot of engage potential. Both the support and jungler both games have picked a lot of engage picks.
It's funny to me that Aqua has the burst comp, but I'm seeing Pink doing the burst. I mean, it's because they have the gold, but it's just Pink doing all the bursts.
And I mean, Zuko and Catch My Hooks definitely looking for MVP in this series. They do get the dragon though, so it is 2 dragons to 2 dragons.
Interesting how Pink decided to not hold control of dragon. Maybe, I guess they got a lot of gold, they want to reset, but still they give up a dragon, which could be huge later on.
Definitely. If they're able to get, if somehow Aqua's able to get the soul, then it will be very big in their favor. Jinx picked up a mythic and so did Rel, and Zyra's left with the only one without a mythic. The Jace damage though.
Yeah, Jace.
About a third of health to Callista. So
good
2
sign.
more of those and the Callista might die.
Still
It is a
some
very
hope.
solid poke. Yeah, there is hope for Aqua, I think.
As
Unless Jace
gets
is gonna
engaged
caught
on,
out
and
here.
Seraphine gets a 2-man ulti, it pinches the Zyra on the end, and Xin Zhao also follows up, and that's just 2 kills over to Zuko.
Yeah, without really much damage being done at all to pink members. Yeah, I think they just have to be positioning a little bit better if they're going for team comps like this. Like, Jace has to be positioned so that he can only be hitting those long-range shots, but the Rel can't jump onto him like that.
Right, he was in melee range of Rel, and he knocked her back, but it just wasn't enough.
No,
Rel
it was not.
sticks onto the
They have
Jace.
so much engage.
Seraphine has been consistently hitting, was it 2-man ults?
Yeah, and I mean, she had a very tough time earlier in the game.
Hex Slash coming out from the Rel, ult onto the Zyra once again will fall, and Rel will be pulled out safely by the Callista. Quick little in and out.
Yeah, just to get that one Zyra kill, and then they were out again.
They are bullying this Zyra.
Yeah, he's not had a chance to live for much of this game. I can't imagine that feels very good for Hessel.
Maybe. Oh, I was gonna say maybe Jace gets caught out again to the Rel, but he is spotted out by the Callista Ghoul. Forced to back off as.
Another third of the damage.
Jace does go onto the Callista, does a fair bit of damage, but not enough. Knocks back the Xin Zhao, who's engaging. Rel hits a nice 2-man stun, and here comes a follow-up, but they go 1 for 1.
Rel does die, so it's in the end.
And yeah, team going 1 for 1. Everything's going back to normal.
It's in Aqua's favor.
And Zhao going in once again. Seraphine barely hitting 2 members, and Zyra once again getting killed by Zuko.
Yeah.
Wow.
Both attacks missing onto the Xin Zhao, making him take a few turret shots, but not too many. Zuko 12-0-4 here. But that would not be capable. He would not be able to achieve that without the help of Catch My Hooks.
I can't be the only one that thought that Seraphine will hit nobody, and then suddenly at the end it hit 2 people. Like, what?
It did not look like it was going to hit anyone, but that end just extended it even longer.
Yeah, like barely hit the Zyra, and then I forgot who the last person to hit, but it hit him.
Syndra, yeah.
Syndra.
Making it very unfortunate. Drag coming up in 1:30. And as far as I can tell, Pink should have all the prio for it.
Nocturne goes in onto the Gwen. The fear does go through, but Nocturne's like, oh hell no, I'm not fighting.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough damage to do anything to Gwen. And Gwen has too much healing to take any damage, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Here comes
Looks like they will
nice
keep
root Sidra follow up, and yeah, wow, Gwen does go down.
Good. Dragon is up, and they do have no top laner. And well, Dragon's up in a minute, and I don't think Gwen will be up by then. Oh, she will. So she might have to TP in for this dragon fight if they want the drag. But they do have no vision control. Pink has a lot of vision in Aqua's jungle. Looks like Zyra ult was used on the bush. A little unfortunate, but
that top play is good. Aqua just needs more of that, you know, to maybe claim these 2
good
shutdowns. Picks. Yeah, good picks, because they do have a lot. They have the route into the, what do you call it? I don't know what the displacement that Syndra has is called, but a knockback.
Yeah.
That worked really well in their favor there.
And they do need something else like that if they're going to want to take this 3rd drag.
Here comes a flank TP coming out from Gwen. Nocturne will spot it out. We'll see if they are going to fight. Gwen walks into the Syndra, who can't peel herself off because Gwen just goes invulnerable. Here comes Xin Zhao onto the Zyra. Zyra falls. Seraphine hits a 1-man ulti as the fight is developing all over the screen. Gwen gets Gwen gets the Nocturne, and wow.
Not much health taken, and all in all, it's a 4 for 0. So instead of looking for this drag, it looks like Pink might be trying to end.
The end here. I mean, It was a good TP fight to start off the fight, and there wasn't
Yeah.
much response, and Gwen was just sitting on the
They just
Cinder.
didn't have the feeling, really.
And Jinx, being turret auto-attacking the Rel? Rel taking
Yeah,
2
not.
turrets.
Oh, almost dying to the Jinx ult. It looks like they
Maybe
are
they
gonna
get the
try and
wave
end up
clear.
this game.
And Zhao
Zyra
kills
just
Zyra.
still dying.
And, she
Not
gets a
being able
3-man
to live.
knock-up onto them afterwards, but yeah, that'll just be the game
it-
for Pink.
2v1 or 2-0 in Pink's favor, and they win the series. What do you think about it?
Well, I... how do I phrase this? I'm gonna just say bot diff. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at
Yeah,
bot diff.
I think the bot was a little bit favored for Pink. Both times, the ADC of Pink, Zuko, was doing a very good job. Oh, someone dreamed to drink water.
Do I have to go get water?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a minute. You got this. Thanks, chat.
Um. As far as damage that game, Jace did do the most damage in the game, which, I think he did come out really strong. But he just got picked off in the fights and picked off kind of early by all the engages. And then, of course, following up his damage was the Callista. And then Zinzal and Cinder are doing pretty even amounts of damage. Like, from the damage charts, I don't think you might think that, from the damage charts, it actually looks like Pink might have won that game. But, oh yeah, the poll for the MVP is up right now. Looks like so far there's going to probably be a competition between Zuko and Catch My Hooks. But yeah, looking at the damage charts, like, it might have looked like Pink won that game. Overall, they had quite a decent bit amount of damage, but I don't think damage is what matters when I guess they got bursted out.
Alright, I am back with water.
And it looks like Zuko is getting all the votes here. Alright, drink your water.
I will drink my water. Right, MVP. During the game, I was bouncing in my head. I mean, I know Zuko did end up with a really good scoreline, but I think it
Yeah.
was just due to the playmaking from the jungle and the support. So I'm in my mind, I'm trying to think, catch my hooks or I forgot the jungler's name already.
I think that I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my mind, I think that as well. But I mean, credit is due where credit is given where credit is due. That's what you say. And I
Yep.
think Zuko does deserve quite a bit of credit for being able to do a lot of the damage, and he wouldn't have been able to do it as easily without the support backing him up. But his positioning was also really good, and he never really got caught. And that his scoreline shows. I don't think he had a single death in both games.
That is true.
So, definitely good by Zuko. And it looks like he might be MVP. Votes are 7-3.
I'm gonna throw my vote onto catch my hooks. Maybe make a difference. Maybe.
Yeah, honestly, Catch My Hooks probably got my vote as well, but I can honestly see Zuko's being the MVP of those games. He played it very well.
Zuko, flawless, like 0 deaths both games. It'd be very nice to see him on the top of the stats.
Yeah.
This poll will close shortly. We will most likely be talking or pulling in Zuko. So let me see if I can find him on Discord.
I think it's
Is it human?
oh,
Oh,
there we go. Sleepy X Hallow.
Hello.
Are you Mr. Zuko?
Yes, I am.
Well, good performance in that game. Unkillable.
Yeah. Well, I think it's overall, our team just, really gelled today. Really big
That's
thanks to my support in jungle because they low-key carried both games really hard,
good.
particularly our jungle. Really good map awareness, and Hunter, aka Catch My Hooks, with crazy engages just wins us the game.
Yeah, that was a lot of his engages were definitely very insane, especially in that early game. He continuously got the Zyra's flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But yeah,
constantly found those engages all around the map, not just in ball lane, so that was really cool to see. But how do you feel after getting that triple kill in that first game after that first dragon fight?
Honestly, I felt relieved because I know that Jinx wins against me later on, so it's like you gotta make the plays early, try to end
yeah.
the game early as fast as you can with Callista, else you're in trouble.
And your Varus game was very good as well. No deaths and lots of damage output with those Qs.
Yeah, that Varus game again, 100% support right there. I have to give it to him.
I mean, your ults were very good as well. I think every time you used your ult to pick off the Ezreal, it was a very you were able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, if I had a bit more damage, I possibly could have one-shot, but I think it's better to save it for team fights most of the time
Yeah,
when it comes to
generally.
Varus.
In that first game, was the Rakan solely picked to take away the Rakan, or did the support actually want to play Rakan?
Oh no, support wanted to play Rakan here. Overall, it fit really well for comp,
Yeah.
so gave us
Who
good
does your
engage,
drafting?
potentially good disengage. Alex our coach, casual gamer.
Yeah, the drafting was very good both games in my opinion. It was very well planned out and thought out.
Yeah, thanks to him as well.
Well, do you have anything else to say before we end off this stream?
Well, watch out. We're gonna try to win it all.
Yeah, you're gonna go for the
Do it.
big win.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest rival? Do you think? Like, did you watch many of the streams this week?
To be honest, no, we've been constantly scrimming and practicing almost every day, to be honest. So
Wow,
no.
you don't
I
know yet
have one
who the scary one is.
thing to add.
I'll find out.
Did you notice that your top laner had 0 vision score at like 18 minutes? Was
Well,
anyone
we
aware
sort
of
of had
this?
we had some jokes. We're gonna have some jokes about that later. I can promise you that. But uh,
Deservingly.
coach might have to have a little talk with him. Who knows?
That'd be a fun talk.
It's okay. Top laners don't know how to place wards. We all know that.
Yeah, especially when he had to do that Aatrox into Fiora matchup. It's pretty rough for Aatrox in general.
Mhm.
So big shout out to him for pulling through.
Yeah, it's good on him. Yeah, your team is definitely going to be scary for a lot of the other teams, but we'll have to see how the league plays out.
That's
And
right.
I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of your guys' games. Today was definitely exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, great performance in the ADC role.
Yeah.
Other than that, that game ends off the Silver League for this week. And I hope everyone is looking forward to next week where we'll have a bunch of new matchups being played out. Games have not yet been announced, so I don't know when they are, but once they are announced, I hope everyone's able to make them and watch as many as you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything you want to say, JR?
Um, Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the casting that we had today. I'm JR and I'm joined by Georgia, and
And
yeah,
Wookie was hosting, and I think he did a great job this time as
right. I
usual.
forgot.
So,
Not enough credit goes to our wonderful host Wookie. Who actually had a flawless host today.
yeah.
All production due to Wookie. But yeah,
And
everyone have a good night.
thank you.